Hello and welcome back to video 3. So you've done your walk and you've done your mindful drawing, and now we're going to turn that walk into a collage. First of all, we're going to work out what area you want to work on, which is through a viewfinder, and then you're going to work out your papers that you're going to use. We're going to show you how to do a collage, and then we're going to do the black lines ready for the next stage. So I hope you enjoy it. So now we've finished, that's my walk, so we can see the walk going, big shapes, lots of little shapes, funny little shapes there going along here, spiky shapes, all different shapes. Now if we were to stitch that would probably keep us going for a few months, so we want to do something that's not going to take such a long time. So I've cut out some windows. So you can cut out different sizes. There's like a portrait one. That's portrait. So you look there, or that's landscape. So you could just look along your work. Oh, quite like that one. Or I've cut out a square on this one. So you decide what kind of shape you want. Do you want a square or a rectangle? And pick out a nice piece that's got some large shapes, some intricate patterns. That's a bit confusing. I think my hands smudged quite a lot of that. So that's because we've used a soft pencil. So going along, you know, pick a bit that you quite like the look of. I think I quite like a rectangle actually, and and also it's really nice to have gaps to look at the balance of things. Now I quite like that because you've got detail, a bit of detail there, but you've got this nice area here which is empty. So I quite like that, and it's not obvious that that's a fish or that's a man. They're not kind of obvious, they're just really interesting shapes. So I'm just deciding on, or that one's nice because we've got some images coming off and some nice detail there. I like it when it's slightly off, because we don't want that in the middle really. Want it slightly off centre. So I think I quite like that shape. Maybe just have him that there. So it's not empty there, it looks too empty, doesn't it? But if we've got that bit there, that makes it quite interesting. Do I think I quite like that one? So if I like that one, I need a bit of tape now to take that down, so I know that that's the image I'm going to stick with. So I'll take that down. And we can leave that on there and take that off when we've finished. And that now is our design. Go. So now this is ready to be collage. That's our next stage. So that is our final design, which will blow up to be an A3. So we'll have to work the ratio out to make that A3. It doesn't have to be exact because it's a very organic shapes anyway. But the next stage we'll get another A3 piece of paper, and that design, where these blocks are, we'll put different pieces of paper. So what I'm going to do next is get some collage and some glue, and we'll be ready for the next stage. Right, hello everybody. Now we're ready for the next stage, which is the collage stage. So basically what we're doing is we're adding some texture and pattern to the background. So what we're seeing is lots of lines here. So where I see a block, that's where I'm going to put the paper. And how we're going to do that is I'll just move that out of the way, and I'll just show you the things we need. This is just some ordinary PVA and some water. I'll just move those out, and I've just put a little bit of water in the PVA just to make it a little bit more runny. so it's easy to spread. So you don't want it too runny where it's just going to make the paper too wet. So I've put about 20–30% of water in there, so it's, I suppose it's like double cream. So there we are, that's quite watery now. And then what I've got is a load of tissue. I've got, this is just stuff I've got, but I know I've got loads of stuff. So old bits of wallpaper, tissue paper, other bit of wallpaper, and these are bits of just plain coloured paper that we've used in the past. I'm not going to use black. You can use grey, but not black, because we're going to use the black marker to put the lines over the top. So stay away from anything too busy and dark. So that's probably about the darkest you want. So maybe these lines are a bit dark, so you could get rid of that, but I think it will be all right. That bit will be all right. So these are all other bits. Now we do love the ripped bits. You get lovely edges, so you can use the back or the front of that one. So ripped bits, it's got quite a bit of plastic on there. And oh yes, it has. So there's those bits there. We've got patterns. You can use other patterns, but rip them. Also, like if you're doing a bush, that's a lovely background for a bush, because you've already got the colours and it's along that way. Or if we're going to do a tree, we could do that, things like that, and put the green on the top. So we'll just get these out the way. So not those bits, just put them out of the way just over here. So a lot of my pieces are a bit of a scrumpled mess, but don't worry about that, just flatten them out. And also some are shiny. Now if we're going to be using a black pen over the top, it won't work on that. So what I use is that as a grey, not as the shiny. So I've got a few like that one. I use them a lot in collage, and you just can't paint on it or put even, maybe a black marker would work, but I wouldn't, in case you just use a water-based pen. So use it that way round. It gives you a nice bit of shade, that. So I've got all my papers here, all my different types of paper, even maps, old bits of maps of paper. You can use maps as well, which is sort of connected to our subject, isn't it? That's why I always like it. Right, so that was just the lid. Right, what I'm going to do first of all is this little area in the top. Now these are houses, but really it doesn't matter what colour you put. So I'm going to put a background blocky area in this corner here. So just wipe that down a little bit, and then just glue it over. Don't worry about the background. Put that glue there. And then just find some, now don't worry, these don't have to be square, because we're going to be drawing on the top of them, and they don't even have to be in the right place, but that's vaguely the top right hand corner. And then you flatten it over the top, which means it's nice and glued down, and you can do layers as well. So I might pick that one. That's got a straight edge, that's okay. So I could put it that way round. Got a hair on there, get rid of that, and put that one and put that there. Could put a bit of a roof. Now with something like this, it's quite thick, so you will need quite a lot more glue on it. Stick it right down and go again over the top. And then we've got sort of a third house. What colour should we put? I might just do one of these. So just rip it, the general shape. Don't worry too much about the shape. And we need a bit more glue on that one. So I'll put the glue on there. So there's three sort of houses, but they don't look anything like houses, it's just an idea. So we've got a little shape down here, a little triangle. Now because it's so tiny, I might make that a little bit bigger. I've caught a piece there, but that doesn't matter. So my colours I might stick to those sort of colours actually. I quite like those colours. So what have we got? One of these colours, I quite like that. So I'm going to stick that in the corner. That's a sort of triangle here. I'm going to stick that there, and we'll cut that edge off later. That edge off. Okay, so we've got a little circle here. So it's vague circle here, which is about here. So I'm going to put that there, flatten it down. So it didn't matter, it was a crumpled mess, it's fine. Now, one of the main shapes here is a semicircle. Just move these out. Is a semicircle and a big block. So that might be a good idea to get that big block in and the semicircle. So I quite fancy a big block. We might have to make a big block up out of a few layers. So it's nearly at the edge. Paint it over. Lay that down. Flatten it a bit. Glue over the top. Flattening it out a bit. So it doesn't matter if we make lots of layers. We get a nice, we can get a vague oblong shape. There. And a bit more. There we are. There we are. So that's quite a nice big shape there. Might even need to be a bit taller along the back. So I'll make it a bit taller here. So with painting over the top with the glue, you can do lots of layers. And that one there. So that looks about big enough, doesn't it? And then we've got a semicircle. So how shall we do the semicircle? So I might have to do lots of pieces and work out. I'm not going to be able to rip a semicircle. So actually, look, there's quite a semicircle there already. So I could get a few pieces. And sort of, here's a nice shape. And we can bend it round and curve it like that and get a nice shape. I mean, again, it doesn't have to be perfect. So it sort of starts here and ends up there. So try and follow the line. You can only just see the glue because it's shiny, can't you? So it starts with a point. So I'll try and put that point there. It's a good point, isn't it? And maybe not that one, maybe that one. Next. Yep, there's glue underneath, and we'll just join it up there, bit of glue there. Getting a nice curve. And we'll end with that one, I think, there. Now it comes up quite far, so I might need to bend that like that to join it up. I might have to make it up with some other paper. Let's see if I've got any more orange. Oh, there we are. Oh, it's a different orange. I don't think that matters. There we are. So there's our nice, so we've got some nice shapes coming here. We don't have to worry about the individual lines because we'll be putting that on later. We have got here a little bit of a bush, so we could do that as a shape and that as a shape, the fish as a shape. Can you see it? So we need a fish shape down here. We need some shapes here and a shape at the top. I'm going to go for this piece here. Actually, there's a big shape here that I'm going to put over the top here. Like that, in fact. And to rip that away. Like that there. I think that would be good. Like that. So glue over the top. That's the good thing about tissue paper. You can see the other shapes underneath. I've gone over the edge, but we can get rid of that later. There we are. So we want a square or a rectangle just there. I'll do the map again there, over the top. So a bit more glue over this top here. And go down about there. There we are. I can turn that under. Yeah, the brush is very handy. And we just need a shape here and an area there. So I'm going to use more of this. I'm going to use that shape there for this shape there. Just round the edges off, I think. More organic-y shapes. There we are. So we're getting quite wet now, aren't we, on this page? It's wobbling a bit now. Right, so we've got that one. So we need something bushy and there at the top. I think I'm going to bring the star. Oh no, I don't want the stars too near. Put the stars in the middle again. Rip those up. All the map. Let's have a look what else I've got. What about some day glow? That would be quite nice. I'll come in down here with the day glow. There we are. It's got a few more bushes on it. A few layers. And we've got some in the middle here. So I'll just put a little pile of the day glow in the middle. Oh, and that finishes with a nice point there, doesn't it? Like that. So I'll rip these bits up. In the middle. And it goes over this bit here. And this bit here crosses over that bit. Also, a bit of tissue paper will hold that down as well. So I think I need to make a bit more of this here. So I'm just going to add another layer. Because there is a bit of zigzags over the top, so I'm going to make this a bit more interesting up here. And the map. A bit more map, like that there. Okay, I think that's about it. So we have to do now, so stick it from the background, turn it under the edges, cut that when it's dry, cut that off when it's dry. Oh, that's stuck on, there we are. Turn that under. And we have to wait for that to dry now before we can do anything on it, because the marker pen won't work on the wet. So when that's dry, we'll start our next session. Okay. Okay. Right, that was our final design that we chose, that we used a viewfinder to find a good shape. So those are the lines, those are our lines, and then we found some different tissues and different papers and picked out some of the big shapes. Now what we're going to do is look at these lines and add them onto these shapes. So to start with, we've got a really big fish here, so I'm going to start with that, and just notice these different shapes down here and those. And what I want to do is to use a really dark pen. This is it's a very, very dark blue but black, and it's a good Sharpie. But what you must remember as well is to, like I'm left-handed, is to start this side, and then you won't smudge it as you walk across, as you work across. So what I'll do is I'll start this top hand corner, I'll go down and do this shape here. Now this doesn't have to be perfect at all, we're just, because these lines are rough, the lines we're going to do are rough, but it'll just bring the piece all together. So I'm going to just look now at this big shape here and that fish. So we kind of start top right. I've held it down again, so it's, and it also flattens it because it does dry a little bit wobbly. I'm going to come down, go across, and come down, across, and do my fish. Go around the semicircle. Some organic shapes here. And up here. Just going to make some different textures. Keep it thick. And now we're going to go across here and make the oblong. Go on this line. Start this one and do down here, which is a little head, and this one here, and top right. Tap this one here. Another rectangle here. Oh, and there's a bit here as well. I think that's another fish with a diamond tail. I think this line comes into here, just round here, make another line. There. Okay. So this is our final piece, and we're all ready now to move on to the next stage, which was be transferring these ideas and this design into a textile piece. So I'll see you on the next video.